And that's another thing too, is with the pop culture stuff. Whenever I first was coming into like practicing full, like I'd say full time, air quotes,
Mhm.
but when I started taking it like seriously, um, pop culture did influence me quite a bit out the gate. Whenever I was like really deep diving into it and stuff, and at the time, like Vikings just come out, so I wasn't even really watching that yet. But The Last Kingdom, I had been watching. I'd been
Yeah.
watching that for some time during that time, and some of the stuff that they were doing and everything. And then I got into the Vikings, and then it was leading me down through all these rabbit holes and stuff. And then it took me, I think, like 2 years in order for me to get the actual like religious holidays correct, because
Oh yeah.
like there's so many like websites and other organizations out there that pretty much copy and paste the Wiccan holidays and then just rewrite the names and then put
Yeah.
them online as facts. And it took me a
Yep.
long time to navigate through those and figure out what's true and what's not true. And like for Yule, for example, that 2 years ago, or no, 3 years ago is when I realized that Yule wasn't actually in December. That's how long it took me to realize that. And I think
Hmm.
it was either you or Olafson that uh, educated me on that. It was one of you two.
Really?
I know that.
I
Uh,
think I was probably yeah, I think I was probably several years into my pagan journey, before I became knowledgeable of the fact that yeah, pre-Christian heathen Yule happens at a time that is not during the winter solstice. It doesn't happen. It's not 12 nights, you know.
yeah.
Um, Talked about it a lot on this podcast and other episodes, and have shared a lot of information on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page, and in other platforms as well about it. Um, and yeah, it took me a few years into my studies, into my path to discover that as well. Just because, again, if you Google it, you know, Heathen Yule or something, it's going to
Mhm.
tell you, it's going to line up more with when the solstice, the winter solstice is. That it starts on the winter solstice and it's 12 nights, and every night of those 12 nights is dedicated to certain things. And like, then that's how I started my practices around, because that's what I thought was real,
Mhm.
right? That I thought was authentic. And so similarly, like it took a while for me to um, come across the articles and start doing my own research and learning and pursuing an interest in trying to be authentic,
Mm.
or
Right.
observing. And I don't fault people for, you know, like I've said before, if you want to observe your holy days, and your celebrations and all that at a time, let's say it's Yule, right? And let's say you want to do, 12 nights of Yule, and it's going to be in December following the solstice. If that's what you want to do, and that's what's been your practice and your tradition to do, and it's been working, then I guess rock on with it, right? Um,
Right.
I think it's more like informational, like, okay, but realize, right, if we're talking from an authentic historical background of things, that is not the actual time when pre-Christian German, the Germanic peoples observed their Yule
Yep.
celebration. Um,
See, like with my own home, we practice both the Christian Christmas and then we also practice Yule. And I
yeah,
talked to you in the comments and stuff on your Facebook and everything about it, but I'll go ahead and reiterate it here. Um, like the way we do it, and just to pretty much condense it from having Yule in January and then having Christmas in December and just having a pretty much a really long celebration. We decided to, for especially for the kids, just to have them pretty close together. We'll have Christmas on the 25th, and normally about 26th or 27th is when we'll do our Yule,
hmm
and we'll do crafts and stuff on Yule and everything like that. But the reason why we decided to do them so close together is because, like I said, most of my family's Baptist and stuff, so we'll go and celebrate Christmas at their house and everything. And then when we get home, we'll pretty much have a day of rest from Christmas, and then we'll go into our Yule celebrations following that. And normally that'll last a couple of days, and then the holidays will be done.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, like,
Yeah.
that's a family tradition, and I think
Yeah.
more of that is something that gets overlooked. You know what I mean? Nowadays, is that sense of preserving family traditions and keeping those embers alive, and doing things like like I mentioned are working well for that group of people, whether it's a family or whether it's a small kindred or tribe, whatever that works for them,
Yeah.
and for whatever reason, whether it's just the time frame of things, right? Everybody's off, and you get the chance to get everybody together, and it just makes
Yeah.
logistical sense to do at that time, or if it just has become so much of a deeply rooted tradition in the family unit that it, you know, why change it? Just